Good morning. Today we're going to do our ULS science experiment, what will block the light? This experiment refers back to our story in March ULS of Grumpy Mr. G. If you haven't read that story, go back to my YouTube channel and read that story first. It'll make sense why we're asking these questions and give the students a little background information. So let's get started. And the first thing we need to do is gather our materials. Now the curriculum comes with these nice experiment sheet and tells you what you need to get out, as well as provides you communication for your students. We need to get a dryer sheet, felt, a flashlight, and plastic wrap. Now, in a perfect world, at the school, I would have gathered these materials from the store or my home and got them together for the students. But we're at home, so what can we do instead to represent those items? I actually did not have plastic wrap, so I'm just going to use a Ziploc bag. And what we're going to do is explain to the children that this plastic wrap is represented by this plastic bag, and you can put them together. Plastic wrap, plastic bag. Okay. A dryer sheet. The dryer sheet we have a dryer sheet. This is a dryer sheet. Dryer sheet. Next, it wanted a thicker piece of fabric, felt. I don't have felt at my house, but what I do have is a bath towel. So this bath towel is going to be my felt. Felt. And it is perfectly acceptable. What I would do is get a different picture, label it towel, or even easier, just cross that out for your students so that they're labeling it correctly. Towel. This is a towel. And we need a flashlight. Should have a flashlight at home, but I don't have one handy. So I'm going to use the flashlight on my cell phone. I'm going to just turn this on. Flashlight. There's my flashlight. The light. Okay. So, what things do we know? We know that things are made of different materials. This is an excellent opportunity to allow your student to explore. Let them feel the towel or the felt. Let them feel, smell, and manipulate the dryer sheet. And let them feel and look through the plastic wrap. So what we can see, just observing with our eyes, just using our eyes, we can see through our plastic wrap. Can we see through our dryer sheet with just our eyes? And then your towel. When you hold up your towel, can you see through? So let them manipulate and explore the materials that we have, okay? Some things we're going to be able to see through and some things we aren't. So with that knowledge, we are going to form a hypothesis. We're going to ask the question. The question that we want to ask here is, which material will block the most light? That's what our science experiment is supposed to be answering. Which material will block the most light? And we're going to formulate a sentence. I think, and then you select which one is going to block the most light. If your student is verbal and ever able to give you a verbal answer, go ahead and write that on the bottom of your page. If your student is nonverbal, this is where those visuals come in. There's a couple of different ways to do it. You can hand your student all three picture representations, put them in front of you, dryer sheet, towel, plastic. Which one do you think will block the most light? Select it. And when your child makes the answer for you, you just circle the answer for them and then read the sentence that it makes. You can also hand the student all 3 pieces of actual material. Give them the dryer sheet, the plastic wrap, and the towel, and ask them, which one do you think will block the most light? So let's make that selection. I think, based on the observation with my eyes, that the felt will block the most light. So we're going to circle that answer on our sheet, and then we're going to read the answer, the question. I think the felt will block the most light. Here is my hypothesis, and I'm going to keep this up on our board so that we can refer back to it as we do our experiment. And if you notice, I've already put our conclusion up here so we can see, were we right? So now we're going to do the experiment. First step, I'm going to dim these lights so we can see. There we go. And we're going to just follow the steps. Step 1, dim the lights in the classroom. We did that. I do have the flashlight on, which is the light you're seeing. Step 2, turn on the flashlight and shine it on the wall. Do you see? Here it is on the wall. We've got our flashlight on. Step 3, we're going to hold this plastic in front of the flashlight and see if we can still see the light on the wall. Now this is the time we want to get our data organization out. I have it up, and as you look, I've got the plastic, the dryer sheet, and the felt, and it's asking the student to identify, does most of the light pass through? Does some of the light pass through? Or does none of the light pass through? This is going to be important for them to answer the questions. So as we go through, you can have these out for them to make the proper selection. So let's start with the plastic wrap. So I have the plastic wrap, and I put the light in front of it. There it is. What do you think? Did we see it? When we look at our answer sheet, I would say most of the light passed through. You were able to see that flashlight pretty well. So we're just going to circle that. Most of the light passed through. So let's get the next one, our dryer sheet. Here's our dryer sheet. We're going to start by shining our flashlight on the wall. Do you see the different shadow it creates? Some of the light is being blocked and it's creating a shadow on the wall. You can see some of the light on the wall. So when I make the selection for dryer sheet, I'm going to select some. Some of the light passed through, some made a shadow. Okay, our last one is our towel or our felt, whatever thick fabric you have. I'm just going to use this nice green towel. I've got my flashlight shining to the wall, and look, when I put my flashlight through, what do you think? Yeah, none of the light passed through. You could see there was a light, but it didn't come through enough to get on your eyes. I'm gonna go ahead and turn my flashlight off and my light back on. There we go. And I'm gonna circle that none of the light was able to pass through my thick fabric. So now what do? In any good experiment, we've asked a question. Now we need to go ahead and answer it. So let's take a look. What does our data sheet say? Which materials did most of the light pass through? Well, we can look up, we recorded that. Most of the light was able to pass through on the plastic wrap. So we're going to get our pen and circle plastic wrap. Set this down for us. There we go. Next, which of the materials did some of the light pass through? When we look back at our data sheet, some passed through the dryer sheet. So we're going to take our marker and we're going to circle the dryer sheet. Okay, which material did none of the light pass through? Again, looking back up on our data tracker, it was the felt or the towel. So we're going to circle that. So now that we have the answers, which one had each, which blocked most of the light from shining through? This is a different question than here when asked which one did the light pass through. This one wants to know which one blocked most of the light. If Grumpy Mr. G was going to buy a curtain and he wanted the light to be blocked so it didn't shine in his eyes, which one do we think would be the better choice? The one that blocked most of the light, where the material did not let the light pass through. So the felt. So we're going to just circle the felt. Good job. So the last step, now we have our data and our answers. We need to go back and look at our conclusion. Our hypothesis that we made said, I think the felt will block the most light. Were we correct? Yes, we were. So we're going to circle yes. So what I want you to do at this point as a family, I want to encourage you to continue that experiment. What else can you do and looking around your house to see what would be a good idea? In your packet, the last page has some great extension activities for you if your student is still engaged. But one of the things that's really fun, use the window itself. Let them try and see, put things up, and do they see the things outside during the sunny day? Go outside and hold it over your face. Play peekaboo. Can you see mommy? Through the light. The other really fun activity, if you're looking in your dark light, is to take your flashlight and practice making shadow puppets on the wall because your hand is blocking the light. So those are some fun ways to extend on this experiment. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.